Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me in today's Fall Back into Fitness webinar. We will be discussing fitness assessments today, so kind of just going through different types of assessments that you'll be able to do at home since we are on site at the moment. So we'll go ahead and get started. The components of fitness are body composition, cardiovascular fitness, muscular strength and muscular endurance, and flexibility. So we'll go ahead and get started with body composition. Your body composition is your body fat percentage, so your fat tissue versus your fat-free tissue. One test you can do to find your body composition is to find your body mass index, also known as your BMI. BMI is a rough estimate based on the concept that a person's weight should be proportional to their height. However, this is not a good indicator of body fat because when you are finding your weight, you're just stepping on the scale, so it's not distinguishing between your body fat, muscle mass, or bone. However, a benefit of knowing your BMI is that a higher BMI is linked to an increased risk of disease. So here is a chart with the different classifications of your body composition based on what your BMI is. And this is if you were to do the equation of your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. But if you didn't want to do the math, we do have a chart here in this next slide where you're able to just, if you know your weight and your pounds, whether it be in feet, pounds, kilogram, inches, doesn't matter. So for example, I'm 5'2" and I'm about 115 pounds. So my BMI would be 21, which falls in the healthy category. What's nice about this chart is, it's color coded based on the different classifications, and it's very simple to be able to just jot down what your height is and then go across based on what your weight is. And then come on back, our second assessment that you can do for body composition is taking circumference measurements. When measuring, you always want to measure body segments that are on the right side of your body. You also want to keep in mind that when you're taking these measurements, they should be taken without any interference of clothing. So typically what's best for women to wear would be a sports bra and shorts or spandex, and then for men to be shirtless and then to wear shorts. Another thing to keep in mind is that as you are measuring, you want to make sure you're using flexible measure tape and that as you measure, you're keeping it taut and level throughout the girth of your body segment. So some common areas that are typically measured are the arms, legs, and torso. So as you see in our next slide, we have photos here of the different placements. So in the top left, that's starting with your arm, you would be measuring your bicep, and the way you'll want to measure it is, again, it'll be on your right side, so you'll measure your right arm. You want your arm to be fully extended and relaxed with your palm facing up, and then you'll just measure around your bicep. And then the top right for your legs, you'll be measuring your thigh. So you'll measure 10 inches up from your knee, and then wherever that mark is around for the circumference on that right thigh is how you will measure your legs. And then finally for torso, we have your chest, waist, and hips. So going left to right, at the bottom, we're starting with your chest. You'll measure at the nipple line going all the way around. And then the middle picture will be your waist. For your waist, you want to find the narrowest point right below the rib cage and just above the hip bone. Now, if you don't see the narrowest point, such as in this picture, you will just measure across the navel area, so across your belly button. Again, as you can see in all these photos, it's nice and taut, the tensions around it, and all of it is nice and level, at a straight line. And then finally, the bottom right photo, we have measuring of your hips. To do this, you're going to stand with your feet together, and then you're going to measure the widest portion of your butt. And then we are going to move on to our next component of fitness, which is cardiovascular fitness. So to assess your cardiovascular fitness, you can either do the Rockport walk test or the Cooper 12-minute run test. The Rockport test will be good for all levels, especially beginners. How it will work is you will walk 1 mile as fast as you can and then record your time exactly at that 1 mile marker. So the way that you're tracking your progress is by seeing how your time improves each time you complete the test. So that distance is staying set, and then the time is what is varying. So if you're walking a mile in 20 minutes, and then the next time you do it in 19 minutes, you can see that you've progressed. In contrast, the Cooper run test has a set time, and then your progress will be determined based on your distance each time. So since this is a higher intensity of running the entire time, this test isn't suitable for less conditioned individuals who wouldn't be able to run consecutively for 12 minutes. So again, since that 12 minutes is what is set, what's varying is your distance. So how you're measuring is if you can run a mile in those 12 minutes, and then the next time you run a mile and a half, you can clearly see that you've progressed because you're running an even further distance in the same amount of time as before. And then our next component of fitness will be muscular strength and muscular endurance. We have the 1 rep max to test the maximum strength of muscles. So you can do different types of exercises like the chest press or squat. How it would work is you would first start with a weight that is achievable for you to do with 1 rep. So let's say 75 pounds for a squat. And then you do that 1 rep, you know you can do it. So then you're going to rest a few minutes, let your muscles kind of relax and bring that energy back. And then you're going to increase the weight, and then you're going to try again. And then you're going to keep doing it until you get to a weight where that's the highest you can go. You can't even do 1 repetition after that for that weight. Typically, this will be for more advanced individuals, just because you want to make sure that you're keeping that good form while having that heavy load on you. So that'll be for more advanced lifters or people that are lifting more frequently and are used to that. For muscular endurance, we have the push-up test and the sit-up test. So the push-up test measures muscular endurance of the upper body, primarily the pushing muscles, so your chest, your shoulders, your triceps. How that will work is someone will place their closed fist on the floor directly underneath your chest, and they will count the amount of time that you are able to touch your chest to their fist. And you're gonna perform this consecutively as many times as you can without any rest, and the counts will stop as soon as either you come to exhaustion and you can't do anymore, or as soon as you break that bad form. So of course that good form is keeping your butt down, shoulders over your hands, not letting your lower back cave in, keeping that pelvic tilt the entire time as you bend those arms, bringing your chest down to the fist, again leading with the chest, not your forehead. And then same will go with the sit-up test. You're doing the maximum amount of sit-ups you can consistently without any rest. So you're laying on your back, legs bent, feet flat on the floor, doing those sit-ups until you either break that form or you come to exhaustion. And then here we have the charts for classifications for how many push-ups you are able to do for the push-up test. This first chart is for males, so you can see at the top it is separated based on age range, and then after you'll look down and then see however many reps you got, that's what classification you're in. So let it say you're 52, you fall between the 50 and 59 category, and you get 14 push-ups. You fall between the 13 and 20 range, so your classification is very good. And then our next chart here is for females, the same thing. That top bar based on your age range, and then you look down, that's based on however many reps you get. You'll look to the left, and that's the classification that you fall under for that push-up test. And then finally, we have flexibility. Flexibility mostly determines in your lower body, and as we say in all of our classes, it's always important to stretch before, after class, because tightness in your muscles can lead to injury. Typically, if we were on site, we would do a sit and reach test where we have the box, your feet are pressed against, keeping your legs straight. You would fold forward, and then however far you push that bar, that's your flexibility. So a way to modify this to be able to do this at home is if you have a yardstick or a measuring tape, you'll sit on the floor with your legs extended, back nice and straight, and then you'll put either the yardstick or the measuring tip at the end of your heel, and then you will fold forward, and then wherever you reach, that's where you'll mark it. You can keep track of the number. That way, every time you do it, if you get higher number, you realize your flexibility is progressing and you're getting better at it. Now, alternatively, if you don't have a yardstick or measuring tape at home, you can still do a flexibility test. Instead of keeping track of the number, you can still keep track of placement, making sure you're running the test exactly the same every time. You could put, let's say, a book at the end of your heel, again, making sure it's the same every time. So you're always going to use that same book as you're measuring. And let's say the first time you get 1/4 of the way past that book, and then the next time you get 3/4 of the way. Well, you don't have the exact numbers, but you can see that your flexibility has improved. You can track your progress that way, knowing that it's improving with whatever you're implementing in your program. And that sums up our assessments for our different body composition and cardiovascular fitness, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and flexibility. So again, these are all fitness assessments that you can do at home. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our email, joho@johofitness.org. If you have any questions, or even if you'd like to set up a free virtual fitness assessment, we can help you run through it. We can set up a video chat or a phone call, and we also are offering free fitness consultations and goal setting sessions. So make sure you reach out if this is something that interests you or if you have any questions.